All right, everyone, so today I'm going to be making a gluten-free vegan loaf of bread. I know I at least got one subscriber out there who will eat it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we have our warm water. I heated it up for about 10 seconds in the microwave. You want to get it to about 100 degrees, and our active dry yeast. We're going to pour that in, and then we're going to let that go for about 5 or 10 minutes. And what we want to do is see it activate. And we're going to get some bubbles in there, and if it doesn't incorporate, you can stir it a little bit, but just give it about 5-10 minutes. While we're waiting for that, we have our stand mixer, and we're going to put our dry ingredients in there. So we're going to do our gluten-free flour. We're going to pour all that in there. Our baking powder. Oh, a little bit more. Our xanthan gum. And our kosher salt. So once we got all our dry ingredients in here, we're just going to hold off until we see that nice foamy top right at the top of that warm water and active dry yeast. So I've let this stand for about 5 or 6 minutes. I got a nice foam on top from the yeast. Before I actually add this in, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just whisk the dry ingredients together. So I'm going to put this down with the whisk attachment and just on low. And this is just to incorporate everything. This is all the dry ingredients. All right, we got everything incorporated there. I'm gonna pop this back open. All right, so I got the whisk attachment off. I'm gonna put on the hook. Make sure that's on nice and steady. And the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and add our yeast and water mixture and the rest of our liquid ingredients. The honey, olive oil, and our apple cider vinegar. Once we got all that in, we're going to go ahead and drop this down, make sure it's locked. And we're going to put it on low, and we're going to mix this for about 5 minutes. And what we're looking for in the consistency is a sticky pizza dough-like consistency. So we're going to let this go to 5 minutes. Once we get that consistency, everything's mixed, and it's got that sticky pizza dough-like consistency where it lightly sticks to the bottom. That's when we're going to stop. All right, so as you can see, we're about 1 minute into it, and it's mixed everything up, but to get that sticky dough, we're going to need to add about a ½ cup of warm water. It doesn't have to be too hot, but just warm. And you don't want to pour it in all at once. You want to kind of throw it in a little bit at a time, give the mixer to incorporate everything. And if, as you're going, you see that you may need a little bit more, you can go ahead and just add a little bit more water. Everything depends on the temperature of your home, temperature of the ingredients, and that's why it may differ a little bit. So I've let it go for about 6 or 7 minutes. It took a little bit more than 5 minutes to get that consistency that I want. And as you can see, it's pulled everything down. It's got that pizza dough quality to it. If you need to stop it at some point to scrape everything down off the sides to make sure that it mixes it properly, that's fine too. Okay, so I've opened it up. I got the consistency I want. I've removed my hook. I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling this out. Now, if you wanna use your hands, you wanna make sure that you got some water to wet your hands enough so it doesn't stick. And that's usually the easiest way to pull it off. And then we're going to take this out, put it straight into our baking pan that I've already lined with parchment paper. And we're going to go ahead and just gently shape it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we kind of want to make it even. And then we're going to get a kitchen towel and just drape it right over the top. And we're going to let this sit for about an hour, hour and 15 minutes, and we want to let it rise. All right, so I've let it rise a little over an hour. I got a good rise to it. And so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to gently score it right across the top about 3 times. There we go. And then just dust it with a little bit of our gluten-free flour. So I've already set the oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to bake this for 35 to 50 minutes. And so after about 35 minutes, you want to start watching it closely to make sure that it doesn't get overcooked. So it baked for about 55 minutes. I got that beautiful golden brown color. It looks fantastic. It smells amazing. So we're going to give it a try. So I'm just going to take a small slice off. I let it cool down for a little bit. And I just want to give it a taste. Oh, moist. That is really fantastic. If you haven't had vegan or gluten-free bread or vegan gluten-free bread, it's really important you follow the recipes. And when you do, you get great bread. Enjoy.